Hey there, and welcome to Tech Corner. I'm Brandon72 your host, and this is my new series where I offer technical help and take a look at the technology behind gaming. One of the questions I've been asked a lot recently by my fellow gamers, especially since I've started uploading edited, pre-recorded videos, is how do I record videos? And up until recently, I've used a free option called Shadowplay from NVIDIA. I've just recently switched over to Bandicam, which Bandicam is phenomenal for recording gaming software or gaming videos. However, the software does have some limitations if you're using the free version. The first being, if your video is going to go over 10 minutes long, well, sorry, it can't. 10 minutes is your limit. You can record multiple 10-minute clips and then edit them together, but that makes doing voiceovers a little bit hard, especially if you're trying to do voiceovers in game. So you want something that doesn't have that 10-minute limit if you're planning on making a 10-minute or a video that's longer than 10 minutes. It also has a limitation of that it will put the Bandicam, what they call a watermark. Basically, you'll see their web address all the way atop across the top. There we go, got it. Across the top of all of your videos. And if you don't want those things, well, then you have to buy the license copy, which is $39. And of course, not everybody has $40 to spend, especially if you're just starting out on YouTube and your channel's just not really generating any revenue. I get it. I am an unemployed college student, and if it weren't for a generous person who gave me the money to buy the software, I wouldn't have it either, and I would still be using a free version. So I want to talk to you today about what you can do to record video games on a PC for free. And there's two that I'm going to talk about, two different ways, both free. One is built right into Windows 10. And now you might be saying, Brandon, I don't have Windows 10. Fair enough, but you probably are using either Windows 7 or a version of Windows 8 or 8.1. If you're using any of those, you are entitled from Microsoft for a free upgrade to Windows 10. I believe that free upgrade program goes through July of 2016, though you'll want to check with Microsoft to be sure on those dates. Not 100% certain on them, and I didn't check them out before the video. Very sorry about that. But you can get Windows 10, and then built into Windows 10 is this really cool app called the Xbox app. It's not Xbox Glass, it's something a whole lot more than that. One of the great features that's built into it, however, is what's called Game DVR. It's kind of over here as an icon. If you've recorded things, it'll show you the things you've recorded and things your friends have shared and all that. But what I really want to focus on are the settings so that you can see how to use this to actually record your videos. Of course, you want to make sure that it's turned on. If it's not, it's in the off position, it'll do no good for you. But with it in the on position, all of these Windows shortcuts become available in a full screen game. Now, of course, you'll have to open up the game bar, which you see here is Windows G. I can't open it right now because I'm not in a game, and if it opens, it'll just immediately close, so it won't do us any good. But the game bar will pop up in most games. Sometimes full screen games, it doesn't really want to cooperate, so you may have to put it into a windowed mode in your game. You just do that through your graphics settings in the game itself. But you can still usually put it typically in the full resolution of your screen, just in a windowed version of that, and bring up the game bar. But for most games, it works just fine. You hit Windows G, bring that up, and then you can use all of these different shortcuts that are here, which of course will record in the background, working with this record that function, to record clips of anywhere from 15 seconds up to 10 minutes in these increments that you see here on the screen. So let's say you don't want to always be recording. Maybe you wanted to put together like a highlight reel, or capture some of the funnier moments that happen in games, because you know that you come across some of those really cool, awesome moments. Well, you can do that and set it up so that it's always recording in the background, and every 10 minutes or however much you have it set to, it will just keep recycling its file over and over again until you hit this key combination. At that point, it'll save the last 10 minutes or however much you have it set for to your hard drive, and you've got a video that you can now upload to YouTube. Of course, you can edit that video or do whatever you want to it, but it's ready to go to YouTube. It records it in a format that you can just upload. These settings don't really apply to me because I'm on a desktop, but if you are using a laptop, you want to make sure you're very careful with this because it will drain your battery really quick. And if you're using some sort of wireless display, you want to indicate whether or not you want to allow background recording. And here there's some kind of wonky issues with that, but I'm plugged in to a desktop, to a 32-inch monitor via HDMI, so I don't have to worry about that. The next thing that this offers is game clips, where you can record an entire recording, however long you want it to be, anywhere from a maximum of 30, 1 hour, or 2 hours. 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. You got it. You read it. You saw it. Okay, good. And you do that with the start-stop recording key. And, of course, it is going to save to your default video folder in your computer. And note about that is that this can produce some rather large files. And if you don't have a whole lot of space available, you can save. I don't recommend it, but you can save to an external device. Or alternatively, if you can add another hard drive to your computer internally, then you could save to the other hard drive. But what you have to do is set up what's called a redirect, where basically, and you can learn how to do that right here, basically you go into that folder and then use a move function that's built into Windows that will from then on out tell every program that's looking in this location, no, it's really over here. It's exactly what it sounds like. It redirects the file to somewhere else. Very simple stuff to do. If you need help with that, or have questions about how to set up a redirect, make sure you leave a comment in the video, and I will, or comment below the video, and I will be sure to answer those questions for you. Audio, this is about game audio right here. I would go ahead and set it to the highest quality so that you're sure you get the crispest game audio possible from the Xbox app. YouTube's going to compress it and downscale it anyway, so you don't have to worry. It's not going to be at that rate by the time you hear it back. But the higher you can upload, the better it's going to sound because of the compression that YouTube's going to do. And then, of course, you can also choose whether or not to have your microphone. I've got it turned off right now, because if I turn it on, it's going to tie up the microphone that I'm currently recording with, and that would not be good for any of us. Of course, you can also turn your microphone on or off. So if you're not always wanting to record a voiceover, you can do that, and it's got just a shortcut right there as well. And then, of course, the final things are your video quality standard are high and your video resolution standard are high. If you're trying to capture the game at its native resolution, meaning the resolution you're playing it in, then you want these set to high. But, of course, if you have a lower-end graphics card or a lower-end processor, you may see some impact upon your game performance, as this requires the hardware in your computer that also plays the game running, so they kind of compete with each other. And so that could be a bit of an issue sometimes. So if you do run into some stuttering, you can always come in and change these to standard. You won't get as crisp as a picture, but you will still be able to record. And so that's the game DVR feature built into Xbox One. But there is another feature. If you have a dedicated video card, which if you're playing any AAA games, you better have a dedicated video card. The built-in, what they call an integrated graphics processor, GPU, doesn't really cut it for a lot of high-end gaming. So you're probably going to have a dedicated video card in your computer, either from AMD or from NVIDIA. I happen to have NVIDIA, so that's the one that I'm going to show off here. I've got an NVIDIA GTX 980 Ti video card in my computer. And it has some hardware on that video card that allows it to encode video while it's also doing all the stuff a video card needs to do to play your game without impacting the performance of your game at all. It's really cool. If you have a 900 series cards, like a 960, 970, or a 980, you should be able to use this without a problem. If you have some of the older NVIDIA cards, you'll probably still be able to use Shadow Play. You just may not get as good a performance inside of the game itself, and you may notice some stuttering in your videos as well. But this is included with your video driver when you download it from NVIDIA. It usually downloads the NVIDIA GeForce experience as well. Again, you launch that just by clicking Start and going to All Apps and going to the ends. I keep going past it because my mouse has got a really sensitive scrolly wheel. And GeForce experience, or alternatively, a lot of times you'll have an icon right here and you can just open it through the experience panel there when you right click on this little green icon, and that brings you to here. And these are just basically telling you whether or not you want to use a webcam, so you can have a face cam, and you can reposition it to what corner you want, as well as tell it how big you want, and turn it on and off. You can do like I'm doing right now, capture just everything that's happening on the screen with the desktop capture, so that's a nice feature that the Xbox app doesn't have that this does. Microphone, of course, always on or push to talk. And then your hotkeys for either saving the last 20 minutes recorded, which is exactly what it sounds like. If you toggle the hotkey to save that, it will save the last bit if you have it set to a certain setting, which we'll get to in a minute. Or you can do manual recording, which is the setting I typically use. You can toggle broadcasting via Twitch, on or off, pause, resume, etc., etc., etc. And then, of course, you can tell it where you want to save all of those files. Of course, you do want to go into the Shadow Play app itself once you're in there, so that you can set your mode, Shadow and Manual. Shadow is like that thing it talks about earlier, where it says record 20 minutes if you hit the key. Or you can do Manual at the same time. So let's say you did Shadow and you caught a game clip, but later on you decide, I just want to capture everything I'm playing. Fine, start recording, and it just starts recording from that point on. Shadow does just the last 20 minutes, Manual does just manual recordings, and then of course the Twitch broadcasting. You just choose which one you're doing. Shadow time, you can change how long it's going to record, and it gives you an idea of how much space it's going to take. And as you can see, it takes a lot. Though that doesn't seem right, quite honestly, but yeah, that's not really right. There's no way it's going to take 19, almost 20 gigs for 20 minutes. Not going to happen. Then you set your quality. You can go low, medium, high, or custom. I've gone to custom. I always want it to capture the in-game resolution. I like 60 frames per second, so all the motion and everything on the screen looks nice and crisp. And then I've got this maxed out to 130 kilobits per second, just so that I can get a lot of data transferred in that file at one time. The lower you go, the less quality you'll see in your video. But you want to adjust this based upon your computer. Just play with it, see what it can handle to give you the best results. And then audio is just like it says here. It's recording just in-game and microphone, or no audio at all. And that's it. Once you've got this running, you just leave this open. Then you can launch Steam, launch your game, or however you happen to launch your PC game. Start it playing, and then hit your hotkeys to start recording. And you're good to go. It's going, and you've got voiceover capabilities and everything. Now, one word about voiceover capabilities in both of these programs. They do not have a separate what's called audio mixer, meaning that you may have seen like some live streamers where the game audio is as loud, if not louder than the voiceover of the broadcaster. You can't control that within these programs, but you can control it within Windows very easily. So what you can do is go into Windows, click on your volume mixer, and then your game will have its own little volume slider right here. So if it's too loud, you can just grab it and drag it down to where you get a good mix. Again, you may have to play with that to find the mix, and it'll probably be different from game to game. But it is a way that you can get control over that game audio so that you're recording your microphone at whatever setting you have that set up for, but you can just bring this down as you need to. So yeah, guys, those are two free options that are most likely built into your computer. By the way, like I mentioned, this is the NVIDIA version. If you have an AMD graphics card, I believe that they already have their version of this out. It's called something else, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. If it's not already out, I know it's coming soon. So watch for that for if you're on AMD. I just prefer NVIDIA. Is one better than the other? No, but that's an argument and a discussion for another day. I just like NVIDIA for reasons. So yeah, guys, that's how to record a video. Of course, we didn't really touch on live streaming. I use OBS for live streaming, and I'm also recording this right now in OBS because it's a good way to capture just desktop stuff that doesn't really need the best resolution. I would not recommend OBS for recording game footage, though, just because of the way it compresses the video. You wind up with some massive video files if you're going for really high quality. and it'll really hit your computer resources really hard. So I really wouldn't recommend using OBS to record. Live streaming, it is beautiful, and I highly recommend that. And if you'd like me to do a video on how I live stream, I will be glad to do that for you as well. Just make sure you leave a comment for me down below the video. Of course, if you have any questions about anything that I've covered today, make sure you put those in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video today, I sure hope you'll hit that thumbs up button and leave me a comment. Let me know what you liked about it. Be sure you also follow me on Twitter at Brandon72Mo and hit a like on my Facebook page, also Brandon72Mo there. And until the next Tech Corner, I am Brandon72Mo, and thank you for watching.